All right, so we've talked about how to classify a polynomial. Now we're going to talk about how to add and subtract polynomials. Okay, to start with, we need to talk about what standard form is for a polynomial. Standard form is the form of a polynomial in which the terms are written in descending order according to their degree. So we've talked about how to find the degree. So for example, it's going to ask you to write the polynomial in standard form. So we want to look at the different terms and we say this has a degree 1, this has a degree 3, this has a degree 0. I want to list those in order from the highest degree down to the lowest degree. So I would move this term to the front and say that's a negative x to the third plus 15x plus 3. That is now in standard form. Make sure when you move the terms around that you keep the sign with the terms. So this was a minus x to the third. So when I move it to the front, it still has to be a minus x to the third. This was a positive 15x, so when I move it back, it still has to be a plus 15x. So just watch your signs there. And then it says, then let's name the polynomial based on its degree and the number of terms. So because this is a degree 3, we would call it a cubic. If you go back to your section 1 notes, we call this a cubic, and it's a trinomial because it has 3 terms. Okay, if I write this in standard form, I look at the different degrees. I'm going to put the 3x to the fourth first, plus 2z to the third next, minus the z squared plus the 5z. Okay, that's highest degree first, that's a degree 4, followed by degree 3, followed by degree 2, followed by degree 1. So that's standard form. That's a degree 4 polynomial and it has 4 terms. Okay, I'm not going to spend any more time going over those. I do want to look at this section here where we're adding and subtracting. That's where I want to spend my time. Okay, it says to add or subtract polynomials. To add polynomials, we have to add only like terms. A like term, okay, like term means that we have the same variable and the same exponent. Okay, for 2 terms to be added together or subtracted, they have to have the same variable raised to the same exponent. Okay, it says find the sum or the difference. This is a sum because they're asking us to add. And what I like to do is I like to underline terms that are like each other. So I've got a negative 7x to the third and I have a negative 8x to the third. Those are like terms, same variable of x, same exponent of 3. So I can combine those. And you just want to combine their coefficients. The coefficient is the number in front. So I take negative 7 plus negative 8. I get a negative 15x to the third. Okay, then I'm going to find my x to the second. So I have a 2x to the second plus negative 3x to the second. So 2 plus a negative 3 is a negative 1x to the second. You're not going to see that 1 written as a coefficient, but it's negative x to the second. Then I've got this plus 8x. I don't have anything like it, and then I have plus 4. Notice that if you start with the biggest exponent as you look through your problem, then you're going to automatically have your answer in standard form with the leading highest exponent first, and then it's going to go down from there. Okay, let's look at the one immediately below it. It's also another sum, so we're adding. So I find 4m to the second, and I'm going to add it to 2m to the second. Those are like terms, same variable m, same exponent of 2, so we just add their coefficients. 4 plus 2 is 6m to the second. Okay, and then I've got a negative 2m plus a positive 2m. Negative 2 plus 2, that's 0, so we don't write any m. Don't put 0m. You just put nothing. It's gone. And then we've got 4 plus a negative 5. 4 plus a negative 5 is a minus 1. Okay, so my answer is 6m squared minus 1. If I do the example immediately below it, if I go through the problem here, I've got an x to the 5th is my greatest exponent. So I have 4x to the 5th. I don't have any x's to the 4th, so I'm going to skip that. I've got a negative 7x cubed and a positive 8x cubed. I can combine those. Negative 7 plus 8 would be a 1x to the third. Write that a little bit better, a little neater here. Okay, I've got a 5x squared and a 3x squared. Those are like terms. So 5 plus 3, I have 8x squared. Okay, I've got a negative 2, but I also have a 3x. I want to put that 3x next so that it's in standard form. My answer would be in standard form there. The highest exponent is first, and it goes down from there. Okay, that's how we add. Now, these over here are all subtraction. These are asking you to find the difference. So if you recall from first semester, when we subtract, we do leave, change, change. We add the opposite. Okay, so I'm going to leave the first polynomial. I'm going to change it to addition, and then that means I'm going to change all of the signs that follow. This is going to become a negative y squared, a negative y, and a negative 3. I have to change the signs that follow. So that's, you leave the first polynomial, change it to plus, change the signs that follow, and now you just have an addition problem. So you're going to find your like terms. I've got a 5y squared plus a negative 1y squared. 5 plus a negative 1 would be a 4y squared. Okay, I've got a negative 2 plus a negative 1. Negative 2 plus negative 1 is a negative 3y. And 1 plus a negative 3 would be a negative 2. Okay, with number 5, if I do leave and I change this to addition, then I have to change the signs that follow. That's going to become plus, that's going to become minus, that's going to become plus. So I have a negative 7a to the fourth, and I have a positive 7a to the fourth. Those are going to add up to 0. So don't put anything there. Don't put 0a to the fourth. It's gone. Those cancel each other out. Then I've got a 4a squared plus an 8a squared. That's going to be 12a squared. I've got a negative a plus a negative a. That's a negative 2a. Okay, and then my a to the fourths I already took care of. My a's I just took care of, and my a squared. So there's my answer. 2a squared minus, 12a squared minus 2a. Okay, I need this to be a little bit bigger so I can fit that in there. And then the last one, I'm going to make this bigger so we can see it. We're going to leave the first polynomial, leave that alone. If we change it to addition, then I got to change all the signs that follow. So that becomes negative 3x to the fifth minus 4. That's not going to show up, so I'm going to have to put that in a different color. That's going to become a negative 3x to the fifth plus 4x to the third minus 12x minus 6. Okay, all the signs change that follow. You do leave, change, change. Now we're going to combine our like terms. So we've got an x to the fifth over here, and there's no other x to the fifth. I've got an x to the fourth. There's no other x to the fourths. I've got a 12x to the third, and I'm adding it to 4x to the third. That would be 16x to the third. I've got a 7x squared here. No other x squared, so that's that. Okay, took care of that. I've got a negative 12x and a negative 6. Now there wasn't a lot there that could be combined, but you combine what you can. And then the rest, this would just trail out to the end. Okay, and it's in descending order, so standard form. Okay, now you can work on that next worksheet.